हमेशा कोशिश कर रहे हैं टाइम पे जो कि जब तब आगे बढ़ के मैनेजमेंट के सामने सारी बातें रखना, उससे बात करना, और ये सब चीज ना कॉर्पोरेट में बहुत चलता है। ये सब नंबर बढ़ाना, ये दीज ऑल थिंग्स, तो ये नंबर बढ़ाने की होड़ में शुरू में नहीं करना, थोड़ा सा पैसेंस रखनी है, तब फिर कोई दिक्कत नहीं होगी।
So during the time of recruitment, if we get a CV, like who's a job hopper, like he works for a company for around 1.5 years, and then he again suddenly changes and shifts to another company. Now, what I found, that person is a skillful person. Now, if I ask him that why you are a job hopper, he has no answer to it. But he is skillful, and I know if I hire him, he'll be productive. So in that case, how can one justify?
Bhaskar, the one thing first, you tell me that if someone is the job hopper, so then how you are going to rely on that person? Means how can you say that that person is going to stay in your company for the long term? This is the very big question mark. Okay, sir. Because normally the person who is swiftly changing the job within 1 year change the 5 companies.
Okay, I'm talking about around 5 years or 6 years, he has changed 3 companies.
5 years, 6 years, change 3 companies. Okay, fine. Usually that person is not called the job hopper. Okay, sir. If suppose someone stay 2 years in a one company, then you can say that candidate is the passive candidates. But yeah, any job hopper means those who are frequently changing the job. Means within 1 year, 5 companies, 3 companies,
Okay.
2 companies. At least within means 6 months. At least in a 1 year, you have changed the 2 companies. Okay. Right? Vibhuti, Vidyut. Means suppose that 6 months someone worked. Earlier you told me, I remember that. So then that also employee will be a job hopper. Okay. You have a doubt on that. Then certainly you can't rely on that.
But you normally has skills and all required for the job.
You see, but one thing more I'll tell you that if employee is very skillful, candidate is very much skillful, but then also you have to always think for this other parts also, and that is their personal characteristics. Because again I always talk about it, personal characteristics and professional characteristics. You have to always think, because if suppose someone you are going to give the proper induction, you are providing the proper training 2 to 3 months, then after that employee is going to be productive for you, and at a sudden he left that job. Because normally it is said that past performance is the predictor of the future success, right? If suppose someone is performing in the past, means someone have a track record that वो हम 2 महीने पे जॉब छोड़ा है या 6 महीने पे जॉब छोड़ा है, तो एवरेज में यहाँ पे भी 6 महीने में जॉब छोड़ेगा. तो ना 6 months के बाद अगर उसको हम 2 महीने में प्रॉपर ट्रेनिंग दे रहे हैं और उसके बाद वो बंदा वहां से निकल गया, तो फिर हो गया आपका काम.
ट्रेनिंग इफेक्टिवनेस.
और मेरा बहुत जगह में जो काम कर रहा था, तो मेरे डायरेक्टर मुझे बोलते थे, जो कि मैं सबसे बड़ा क्राइसिस यहाँ पे फेस कर रहा हूँ, जो कि जो भी एम्प्लॉय को मैं ट्रेनिंग देता हूँ, सिविल इंजीनियर्स को मैं हायर करता हूँ, हमारी ग्रुप ऑफ कंपनीज की कंस्ट्रक्शन का भी वर्क होता था, सिविल इंजीनियर को मैं हायर करता हूँ, कॉलेज से उठा के लाता हूँ, उनको ट्रेनिंग देता हूँ, और 1 साल बाद वो भाग जाते हैं.
As like a training hub. After the college, they are getting into it and get the training and they left.
अब वो बोलते हैं कि ऐसा इस चीज को कंट्रोल करो आप. पहले बॉन्ड बनाने की बात है तो बहुत सारे तो पैसा देंगे, रेट यहाँ मैं नहीं काम करूँ, कितना लेना है आपको, 2 महीने का सैलरी लीजिए, मैं जा रहा हूँ. बस अब आप क्या करोगे? एक्चुअली एम्प्लॉयर तो फोर्स कर रहा है रोकने के लिए, जो मैं इसको इस डर से ये रुकेगा, लेकिन अनफॉर्चुनेटली उसको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है उससे. दिस इज द प्रॉब्लम. Okay. Any question?
So my one is
Yeah, please answer.
like as I've been like in a company where the employees are not under control because of their internal needs, like they want an increment, rapid increment, it's not possible, and also kind of leaves, unnecessary leaves within a week, more than 1 or 2 days, or within a month. And also like coming late, going early. So in these cases, how we are going to bring these employees under control?
Okay. See, for that now, first foremost, you have to check the company policy, and you have to be in the HR there are 2 things always you have to keep in mind. You have to follow the carrot and stick policy. Sometimes you have to be lenient also, and sometimes you have to be tough also. Means if suppose someone is going against the discipline, then you must take action. Means you have to show the fear also, that if someone is doing something wrong, then certainly some action will be taken. Means if you are giving the leniency at that time, then certainly that employee will take benefit of that. Then again that employee will repeat. So you have to be tough also. Maybe sometimes now once you are going to join any company, and first impression is the last impression. Usually once you are going to join the company, at that time only you show your both personality. That you are a very tough iron lady also, and you are a very soft-hearted lady also. Means both quality you have to show. If something is doing wrong, then you are going to take the action also. That is it.
And sir, how do we handle interpersonal conflict? Like suppose, for example, in the purchase department, the supervisor is having some conflict with his subordinates. Now he comes to the HR room and he just bangs his paper